Well, good morning, everybody here in Maryland. Here for Friday Racing, right after the 4th of July. I am your host, Callie Francois, alongside with Keith Fusel, our morning line audit maker. Keith, how's your week? How'd it go?
It's been good. It's been good. Took off on a couple days down to the beach.
There you go.
Spent some time with my buddy and my wife and daughter, and yeah, just kind of get away from things for a little bit. So that was nice. And sometimes you try to get back on the bike and refocus, and even if you step away from handicapping, just 3 or 4 days, and you're starting to get back into it and working on the odds, and
you get slammed.
But it's like I forgot how to do it.
Somewhat.
Many people probably thought I don't know how to do it anyhow. But no, it gets a little tricky. Coming off the break.
Coming off the layoff.
Yep.
But I think you got a couple of good stats, a couple of good price plays coming in for off the layoff. So I've got some confidence. Just getting into this let's take a look at the track real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right now. So track is looking pretty good. We've got fast and firm for today. So looking pretty well. I'm riding on it this morning. Went great, and we are ready to rock and roll for the first race. But let's talk about that first race, that main claiming 30, 5.5 on the turf. And we both land differently. I go up with, I take that inside horse. I take the Delacour horse with Hori Ruiz. She's a bit of a smaller filly, so she's going to be okay on this inside post, coming a little bit off the pace in that style. So I think she's a bit more even paced. However, as suggested, just going off of just looking at replays of what she is, she just seems to me like she's got a little bit more even pace. You've got Arnold Delacour, who's decent second after the layoff. And here we go for the early pick 5 for John Scheinman. I've got John Scheinman.
The Shine Dog is back.
Joining me.
Come on, Scheinman. Look at Sharp. Look at this.
Race number 1, he does land in on that 139. Race number 2, he goes with the 1 and the 2. Race number 3, he goes 3, 4, 9, 11. And race number 4, he goes with the 2 and the 3. And singles on the 9 in race number 5 for a nice $24 ticket. I like that ticket.
Scheinman looking sharp. Let me tell you something. He does his homework, Scheinman. He puts money where his mouth is. I mean, he is not scared to go to the window. So that's the one thing that's my pet peeve with doing some handicapping and giving selections. I truly believe you got to have some skin in the game if you're doing that. If not, I'm not going to trust you. So hopefully you're betting a lot of your picks. We'll see. But that's my game. I mean, as a gambler, you're along with. I'm there with the ride with you guys. I'm there. John's going to be backing his tickets. I know that. So good to have him aboard and giving out some selections. He does good work.
He does do very good work. Let's go in on your tell me a little bit about number 3, your top selection, Better Call Mama John, because I had this filly on and off of my ticket, so she was punching out some pretty decent numbers enough, just going to the lead, going back in those. But what else did you have a take on it?
Well, the debut was pretty good. Faltered very late. Sharp speed. Look at the internals, 21.4, 44.4 over this turf course at 2. Out of a race with White Knuckle Flyer. We'll see her later in the weekend. Boy, she's really improved. This is going to be first time Lasix on the turf. She is the speed of the speed. Taking a lot of money early right now. I'm hoping some money comes in on the 1 to boost my price on the 3. Originally liked the 2, but I think it's the 3's race to lose. Better Call Mama on the front, and that was a good productive race there in debut going back to July. Of October 21, but coming back to the surface, which I think she's going to perform at her peak. So the 1, I like the 1, but I don't love the 1, and I think she just kind of ran an even race. It was a pretty good field. Rambert was a short price in there for Stidham. That was Gastown's Babe debut. That was visually impressive for Justin Nixon, but just kind of an even run. If she beats me, she beats me. But one thing, a powerful stat on Delacour, the last 5 years. Maiden special weights, the maiden claimings on the turf, 41% with
there we go.
Positive ROI.
There we go.
So pretty strong. We'll see.
Yeah,
all right.
The only reason, let's dig into race number 2. We dig in right away to your early pick 4. Let's going. Let's talk about your skin in the game, Keith.
Yeah, my skin in the game. Here we go. 136. It's a nice cheap ticket, $12. God is Love, Giordani. And Burgee going second time gelding here for Trombetta. Race 3, race 4, race 5, we pare it down. 2 deep each race with the 3 and the 4 in race 3. I like Anti-Poison a lot as a pace presence in race number 3. Race 4 with the 4 and the 5. And then we're going to wrap it up in the 5th. I'd like to go maybe a little bit deeper in here, but we're going to go Fast Lonnie as the speed. And let's hope my bottom selection A girl named Jack doesn't have the trouble that she had last time. Got in a little precarious position into the turn, had to steady. There you go. There's a $12 ticket to get the week started.
That's a great way to get the week started. We've got a video on the number 6 in this race, Burgee, who's coming off of Mike Trombetta with Victor on top. This horse really is the only he's placed more forwardly in the field, and look what happens. We get a little bit more confident go in that last go with Victor Carrasco on top. Has some speed in this race to follow in the Capuano runner and the Carlos David runner, but with the buildup of confidence this time out that we're seeing, won't be surprised if this filly handles the lead as well. I'm sure in this race Victor's just going to go by what happens once the gates opened up and just see where this filly's happiest at, because she can lay off of it just a little bit, but just really it's the big change of pattern when you get it, just building a good confidence booster.
Had plenty left in the tank, was eager from the top of the stretch home. Catches another field, does Burgee, that he doesn't really, I don't think, have to work super hard to get within contention, even with this outer post at 1 1/16, a shorter field. So onward and upward. It was a big jump up in the buyer figures, a 17-point improvement, as we stated. He is second time gelding. We see horses, they just turn into different type of animals after that situation. So, so Burgee, it's an unfortunate situation, but Burgee, a stalker, and will make a move into it. I'm not worried about the extra distances here, moving out to 2 turns at 1 1/16. Giordani's my top selection. Maybe not enough flow, but here's a powerful stat for Sibeli the last 2 years on the dirt. A lot of times I think Sibeli, I think turf. You think all those horses down in Florida and stuff. But last 2 years on the dirt, 8 for 21, 38%. Second race off of a 60 to 180-day layoff with an ROI of 282. Thanks, Phil Brooks. I just was absent-minded. I got this stat in late. He was able to get it for us. Giordani, deeper closer, yes, last time. But I went back and watched the rerun. Off a little bit awkwardly. Really didn't catch it first time. And Lynch just allowed him to settle back and just relax well off the pace. It wasn't a duel up front. It wasn't a contested pace, but it was quick. But he just did the race on his own from the back of the pack, kind of worked between horses at the half, shifted out, and ran fast and ran a full second faster than the split of that race. Okay, that was a maiden 40. The split. And the other part of that race, the split, was Wonder Water, who ran behind Burgee. So that race a little bit better than what it looks to me, and hopefully with a little cleaner break, he'd stay a little closer to this group by the time they hit maybe the 3/8 pole.
It has had a little bit of trouble just getting out of there quick enough out of the gate as of late, or just in the past form. But really, the first time out, I love that they tried it. They just went ahead and said, hey, let's just run this horse on the dirt and see what happens, because if you go back off of that first try on the dirt, that's a 4.5 at Parks. We're talking about a completely different type of horse now, so that it makes sense. It made sense that they tried to put this gelding on the turf because the mare her dam was just as successful on the turf, so she's just made the resurgence. So what I like is that she did take a little bit of an early command at the top of the stretch and was just able to go on with it within himself.
Yeah, and in that stat, I will say within the stat that I put up there were a couple off-turf races, and that's one thing you kind of get for a little bit by percentage. But all in all, it was still solid going back and look at it. And they might have gotten lucky. They kept this guy on the dirt, and a drastic improvement in Figs. That was his first time with Lasix on the dirt as well. First time with blinkers on the dirt as well. So there was a lot of changes. He reacted kindly to it. God is love. We'll take a lot of play in here from the rail for a new barn to barn. Then get horses to win off the claimer first time in the barn. Comes out of a pretty good race last time out at Gulfstream Park. Stormy Patriot came back to run an 83 as a 3-time winner. Right, this is a 2 in life, so it was a little tougher group down at Gulfstream. I think this guy will be forwardly placed as they get into turn. So Grotto Ray is a tough one for me to figure for Gary Cap going first time gelding. They've kind of just stayed with this guy. The numbers haven't been impressive, but they like it. He comes out on the track, he looks good. Maybe the change the first time gelding, because he is a speedier. He's going to try to take them all the way.
He will, and so it's a matter of he's speedy enough to get up there, but as you said, I think there's a reason they probably gelded him. So maybe, and we just talked about that second time gelding. I just sat on him and waited for him to maybe just to see what he's like this first time as a gelding and seeing what he can come up with, and then kind of go on from there. I cautiously left him off my ticket. Race number 3, claiming 16 non-winners of 3 mile and 1/8 on the turf. Let's get into your top pick, Andy Poison, because I had this horse on and off of my ticket, and I'm glad that you saw what I saw as well with Anti Anti-Poison. But before we get into that, let's get into my Rainbow Pick 6 really quickly. Race number 3, I go with the 5, the 9, and the 11 in this. Race number 4, I go with the 2 and the 4. Race number 5 is where I go wide in this race. I was tempted to maybe go a little bit wider just for fun, but I went with the 1, the 3, the 5, the 6, and the 9. Race number 6, I go with the 6 and the 8. Race number 7, I go 2, 3, 7, 10, and I finish in on that Annette Banks. Race number 8, Runner. Hopefully we'll get a little bit better luck at that shorter distance this time for a nice little ticket of $48 for Pick 6.
All right, a little single there in the last. You had to kind of keep that ticket affordable with that spread.
Yep.
Let's look at the third, Callie. And the third race, Daddy's Cozy's going to take a lot of money.
Right.
This is a barn. They don't run a lot of horses. Daniel Hodson deals a lot with some steeplechase and jumpers, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But I'm just concerned about the drop here. Big number. Looks almost too good. But Bodie's Maker is a 10-time winner. This is a condition, right? 3 in life. You're talking about getting your horses back in the correct condition.
Correct.
This is the right spot. Keys up against a really good horse. And that horse came back to run a 90, by the way, Bodie's Maker, and did it at a mile and 3/8. Now shortening up, I think, maybe a little further back today against this group, but has run all right over this turf course. But I go to the 3, Anti-Poison. So I'm going to basically try to beat the favorite. We'll use the favorite there a little bit. Anti-Poison, I thought, ran well. Ran in behind Prairie. Prairie came back on the jump off the claim, ran big. I look at the flow of this race. I don't think it's going to be too demanding for Anti-Poison. You've got a barn in Rodolfo Sanchez Salaman that's hitting on all cylinders right now.
Right.
Anti-Poison has a good race on the go back against allowance type of horses. You got to come catch him, I think, by the time they get to the 3/16 or 8 pole.
And that's the biggest thing. And then I looked at it a little bit further. I said, can this horse handle a duel once some of these horses might eventually be coming up and getting to him? And so I'm taking that look, that off the turf, November 26th of last year. Excuse me. And I thought dueled exceptionally well. The winner just could not be beat that day. So I made a couple of last-minute decisions, but I had this horse underneath on my ticket. I love this horse. This horse, I believe, is your price play of the day, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But no, absolutely, I'm picking up what you're looking at. I'm picking up what you're putting down, especially with this horse. This horse has to be running with it, and I think that's the initial objective with Alvelo, with some of the weight off. So exactly, that's really the only thing, because my two top selections are going to be coming on with a late kick, and will Anti-Poison be able to overcome that? Depends how he dictates the race, which I do think that's a little bit of his game to play as far as dictating the pace today.
You got the clever fellow, the 11 on top.
I do.
A couple good races of note, kind of a win at Tampa. I like the way that he's been able to adapt to a new style of running from a little bit further back and sustaining that run. So that bodes his chances. Outside post, not a terrible concern with a horse that I think is going to be taken back well off the early pace anyhow.
Yeah, so and that's exactly what I picked up. He's dangerous in this field because he's comfortable being placed more forward, being placed a little bit more back. So a lot of tools in the tool belt that this guy has to offer as well. So there's a lot going on. I'm just yowza. I got a little curious for a price play, especially with that pen, just that pen. This is a horse that might play a little bit into that pace as well. I could see. It depends. It depends how Toledo wants to take this. I have a feeling Toledo might push this horse a little bit more forward, just with what his style of riding and what he's just. I'm trying to get into his mind with what he's seeing at the form. I could see this horse actually pushing the button on Anti-Poison a little bit and seeing as he's been able to kind of come back and overtake a couple of horses in the stretch. That might be a chance for him to do it as well. I took a swing at a price with him a little bit up early. So there's a lot to offer.
I'm going to toss him into the mix, Callie, and I go on the go back. It's his third race back off a little bit of a break, but you see in his running lines, Toe Curl and Kiss, and that's who beat Prairie at the wire the other day. Little tougher field, so keying up against the right kind is yowza. Robin, I loved it saying that guy. Yeah, good. Let's go to the fourth.
Yes, let's go to the fourth.
All right.
Race number 4, claiming 5 for the 6 furlongs on the dirt here. We've got a video on the 1 that's Degas for Charlie Frock and Yana Vilas on top. Now, the only thing I don't love about Degas is that when he's on, he's on. He's right there. He's up into it, and I can understand why you have him. You have him somewhere.
I have him in the mix.
You have him
Absolutely.
in the mix, yeah. So you have him in the mix somewhere, but he's going right. He's going well right now off after a much-needed break. But for me, I left him underneath just because I can't quite trust him. A couple of races back, he was scratched just because he essentially lost his marbles in the post parade leading up to it, so he just had to be scratched on the day. But again, once he gets there, when he's on there, he's on, and he's fine coming off of. I'm questioning the inside post a little bit, but he was able to do that last time out, off of an inside-ish placement last time out.
I thought I had him in the mix. See that? I told you. You lose your brain. You go to the beach for a couple of days. You have a couple too many cocktails, and you lose brain cells. But no, that guy's going to be a pace factor in here, no doubt. He likes a fast track, so he's able to get that. He's run hard two races in a row. He's run very hard. Has that taken a little starch out of him? We're going to see, and he's going to have to deal with Bernie's on fire, who's quick. Take one final shot for Bernie's on fire. Kind of, you see that was claimed out of a Dave Van Dolph back in July at Pimlico.
Yep.
So it's back off a long layoff. Caught a quick bunch that day. A little hiccup at the gate, came away just ever so slightly awkward, and Charlie didn't rush him into it, and he kind of let him stay out there 3 wide, a little urge around the turn, and then was protected late. If you go back, that's why that beaten length sometimes you got to watch. When they give him a little ease up there through the stretch, say, hey, we're going to wait for another day.
Yep.
That enhances your price play a little bit. Bernie's on fire. We'll give him one shot. He is the fastest horse in this race when he's about 90%, 95.
Right.
You're going to see X-Man who steps on. He'll be aggressive from the gate. We'll see how far he goes. A-Man Corner's my price shot to come rallying into it.
Yep, I include I had to include DeShackled there. Once I didn't have a lot of belief in this horse until Claudio finally got this horse on a roll. So once he can get him on a roll, I can get a little bit. I'm just going to trust Claudio getting this horse on a roll. But let's take a quick commercial break before we get into race number 5.
Top by 3, by 4, and moving away.
Here we are back for race number 5, claiming 25, 5.5 on the turf. And before we get, we've got a video, but before we get into that, let's talk about our top selections a little bit. I'm going to talk about my price play oil on canvas for Madison Myers. Toledo Toledo kind of let her place herself out of the gate on the inside the last time for that 2022 debut. I think we're going to get a little bit better. Second coming in off of that long layoff. She settled in within herself by the half mile. She had there was horse in Toledo's hands. She let herself build. She comes off the pace, following the winner, also coming off the pace. Toledo got the measure of this filly, I think, last time out. That was the first time riding this filly, and I think he's going to make, with this 6 post, he's going to make a couple of adjustments in this race and kind of place her in maybe a little bit more forwardly placed position, like we saw back at Colonial for that 16. So she fits in this spot. And I think that was kind of getting the cobwebs out of the way, letting her having a run, so to say. So I think Toledo's going to be a little bit more keen on where this filly needs to be this time out.
Yeah, it's a little tough. You sometimes think the longer run to the second wire helps maybe a deeper closer. Well, at time and time, I don't think so. No. You've got to be within reason.
Yeah.
You're going to have some times when it's an absolute pace meltdown in the last 8th. You'll get somebody surge. But you're right. I think he's got to put oil on canvas within 4, 5 turning for home, not 8 or 10. I don't think she gets there, but I think she's going to benefit from her last race. I do like her there, Callie, as a price user. We'll go video now with Fast Lonnie and a girl named Jack coming out of that race on June the 18th. Fast Lonnie right here into the turn with the lead. Inside, a girl named Jack. Watch this going into the turn. I'm glad we caught this because I didn't know if I had it yet.
So
a little steady. I don't know if she shied from the rail. She got put in a little bit tight, but it definitely hurt her chances because she was kind of going at a nice relaxed clip and got put off kilter there, leaving the far turn, and leaves Fast Lonnie 6-7 in front. And then Fast Lonnie wants to go see Karen here, the pizza lady, get a slice of pie and a bucket of beer. Watch this move from the 3/16 pole home.
But what I love. Yeah, I love that she. I know I'm not gonna comment too much on that because that's why I have this filly underneath. But
Okay.
because that was a bit. She to me with Fastlani, that to me that's a filly that's saying, hey, mentally I'm kind of checked out a little bit. I'm gonna drift to the outside. As far as a girl named Jack goes, I think she just had a slip on her. To me, it looked like she just kind of slipped on her hind end a little bit
Okay.
going into that turn on
All
the
right.
turf, especially in that spot on that turn there. So when we don't usually have that problem at Laurel, but you just have to be a little bit careful. She wasn't quite supported totally going into that turn, so I just took that as she just had a little slip in her
Okay.
hind end, a
All
little
right.
slip in the hind end, not nothing major, but with her, what I liked, and then you did see it a little. I saw a little step on it on coming up from the 16th onward, and that's just her adjusting. But for her to be able to do that and kind of not get the lead and still run like that, I loved how a girl named Jack was able to really kind of kick on and kind of try and finish well. So that's what she didn't go ahead. She didn't want to just throw in the towel, and that's what I love about this filly.
She was forced to make a couple moves in that race, and that's very difficult to do. You've got to be superior. She was close. She gets beat 3/4 of a length. She got a good post outside today. She'll be in the free and the clear. Stalk
Definitely.
and move into it. She should be able to keep Fastlani in her sights. I think these two kind of maybe escape as a team
Sure.
from the top of the stretch. Green Eyes might be that one. Came back very good for Jerry Robb. Now we're going to go back to the turf and ran a respectable race against Fastlani. I want to call it way wide going back in turf debut last summer. So 9.563 for me in there. Yeah, a girl named Jack is going to be very tough in there.
Very tough.
Yep.
So race number 6, our maiden special weight, 5 on the dirt, and we don't go for the obvious favorite because we'll get to the obvious favorite, but let me dig in to the number 6, Majesty's Freedom, who is a half to Majesty Frontier, who's second in the Miracle Wood. Now we don't have this filly doesn't have the same issue as trying to lug in as Majestic Frontier, so we have a little bit of a different. But I was the last one to work this filly out of the gate on the mud last Sunday, and from what I felt under me, she felt great. She felt ready, good to go, very fit enough, and that's what wins these 2-year-old races. That John Robb gets these fillies fit. But what I liked, I liked what I felt in the gallop out underneath me. So I'm just basing it off of what I felt coming into this race for Majesty's Freedom. Definitely fit, definitely quick enough out of the gate. Needless to say, we won our heat in that morning.
That's the inside scoop. Just killed your
That's
price.
the inside
You
scoop.
just killed
I
your
did.
price.
Yeah. Well,
That's rule
sorry.
number 1. Don't give out the steam. No. So Majesty's Freedom, half to Majestic Frontier for these owners. That was a horse that was transitioned into Rob's barn and really, really moved up. Big improve you talked about, right? He likes to lay in a little bit, but he stakes place. They've done a great job with Majestic Frontier. Jerry Robb very tough with these 2-year-olds. I throw the 5, roaring like thunder. Free Drop Billy, new stallion, hasn't had a winner yet, but they're all showing good speed in their races. This is a barn, sneaky barn. Brian Brooks, Jerry Brooks, the whole Brooks family, capable of getting a horse to win at first asking. Did it with the name's escaping me. The horse, anyhow, went up to New York and ran second. So I'll take a little flyer because I think you'll get a little bit better price on the 5. The 8 will take a ton of play here. Brittany Russell
price.
on a roll with the 2-year-old firsters. Stakes runners deep in the family. So, training with Kristen looks to be, I'm sure, going to be prepared and ready to go.
She'll be the filly. She'll be the lowest priced filly of the field. The Graham Dam was a dam of a graded stakes winner filly. Stakes winning Colt Rumbling Cloud. Also stakes place filly to Wild Ride. This is just this is me. I was just making the decision of comparing the work from what I sat onto the gate work on the 26, which I don't know if that was a conservative or a pushing kind of work. So I'm just taking it. I'm taking your approach and trying to beat the horse that's probably going to be the lowest price. So again, you have Brittany Russell coming in nice with these first-time starters.
Okay.
Race number 7, allowance here, 1 1/8 on the dirt. Let's dig into that video on your top selection, Keith, because I do like this. I like Audacious Quality. I like this Amy Cortez horse coming in. This horse got a lot out of that fine stakes, which we do see here. Settled wonderfully in general. Almost too beautiful to the trip in the wind. Tipped out at exactly the right time. Got wide open on that front side.
This is where I start crying, though, Callie. I gotta say, hey, no. This is a horse we bet a lot of money on June the 19th, and all of a suddenly, got position early inside, and then this happens. And watch it just kind of drops back here, drops back, right? Loses ground, and then we're going to go wide. I was like, man, right there.
Right.
That was the critical point. And I tell you, the field's kind of getting away. Is this? Yeah, this is it. And
This
then
is
just
it,
yeah,
yeah.
all of a
So-
sudden I see the Wolfman shifting out
Yes.
and looks kind of hopelessly beaten from here. I'm thinking, okay, no, maybe we'll wait for another day on Audacious Quality. Oh, man, right here. That's the problem. He does like to do this. He likes to drift in a little bit. You got to be tied on with the left stick through the stretch. But, man, look at this run.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it finishes with a flourish.
It's
In-
you can see it. Here's the thing. I'm going back to what we saw at that half mile, and you can see this horse taking a second to think about going in between horses, going around that turn, and going through a spot. And it was just that second that made all the difference. That wasn't taken.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, that was just really, to me, that was an educational work for the horse a little bit. Unfortunate that it was in the stakes, and unfortunate that it was at a bit of a price as well. But
Yeah.
I think it's tough. It's tough saying it. You know, it's tough saying it now. But like, I do think this horse there was some unfortunate moment that happened, but a lot of these a lot of these horses can just learn from that type of moment and move forward off of that. So to see that happen and then have that nice finish, that's extremely encouraging. So I'm just kind of waiting. I'm taking a little bit. I kind of went for a couple of horses that are just interesting and intriguing in general, so I didn't go because to me, I agree. I think Audacious Quality is the obvious in this field, but I just wanted to go for a couple of little bit of plays. I have to go for Mr. Jefferson. I'm just way too curious, way too intriguing to leave off. So I'm just might as well go for it, putting him on top. Might try to sit off right off Cosmicality, which we know who's going to go to lead, but this horse loves a challenge down the straight and will probably take it that way. So again, I'm way too intrigued. We have a little bit of a different horse than when we saw him on the turf last time, so it's about where this horse is going to be placed.
Yeah, I'm just kind of shaking my head. I don't know what to make of Mr. Jefferson. He tried the turf twice, topped out at a 57. Now they're coming back. I don't know. He got good on the dirt. And he's going to have flow, right? The speed, Cosmicality, Wicked Prankster, they both kind of need the lead types. They're going to be forward, and the pace should be on us. I'll wait on it. Miss Jefferson beats me. Mike's good at this sometimes. I'll do this a lot, shake my head, and why this spot? He's shown nothing, but maybe he's just a different horse right now.
Well, he's got Lasix in him now.
Yeah.
Turf,
Well, didn't he have Lasix on the turf before? Yeah, down at Colonial he did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
that one race. And so we'll see. Maybe a big jump and he beats me again.
Yeah.
But Audacious Quality, be determined out of that same race, out of the fine, should be right there. Likes to settle and make a run. Twist and twirl, maybe a little bit of a price user underneath. I can't quite get him there. But Audacious Quality, the one thing I liked is that he showed, just let him sit in the clear, stay in the clear, and run your race. And I think he can run this group down through the stretch.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, I think we'll get a better run. He got a lot of education out of that last go. So race number 8, our final race of the day. This maiden 30, 5.5 on the turf. We see this. This is where I get my single. Looking spunky for Net Eubanks, Angel Cruz. Simply the distance is going to benefit this horse. This horse just got a little bit tired last out, but he was just chilling on the rail. Didn't really do anything wrong, but really nice. That was a totally different showing that we had from that May to that June race. And when you change the pattern like that, coming from off the pace, trying to make it up, and then you send this horse next time out, it's going to take some steam physically and mentally, especially out of a chestnut filly. So I'm giving her a race to get that experience, and now we're back at 5.5. I think she's going to, outside post, I think she's going to love it.
Yeah, I don't think she's quite as fast as Hot Spice. So there's going to be the target. There's the Ridgely boys again, Gary and Randy Ridgely. You got to watch out for those two. They breed a pretty good horse every once in a while. So Hot Spice is your speed. Looking spunky, I think we'll get a good tracking spot as well. Polish Cookie. I'll try a flyer in the nightcap with Tilted Tierra. Claim for 25 out of debut by Claudio off a hammy. Claudio with these maiden claimers, first off the claim, sprinting. He's 32%, 11th for 34 over the past 3 years. Just take a shot. You see the excuse, fractious and pre-race, a little 6 wide. You might see a little bit more speed. Only one work was what I'm seeing. Maybe there's one other one, but I got the early cut. But the fact that they hold the level close enough to the level makes me think they're okay with her. So 1-3-7-2 in the nightcap. Polish Cookie, it just tries, over 20, kind of like Color Over Cloud. When will the day happen?
Exactly.
It might be today.
It might be.
Yep.
It might be today because we both have Polish Cookie in second.
Okay.
But hey, let's see how our picks come on. Let's carry on to lightning round.
You got it.
nice day of double takes the last Sunday. First of all, we had Johan and Trombetta finish twice, where they won race 5 and race 8 together. And then we also see Humphrey win for Lacey Gaudette in race 4, and Humphrey for Cash in race number 8 with some nice finishes. I love that finish that he did for Cash in race number 8. And then we also have McGee winning race number 2 and race number 6. So it was a nice double day that we had on Sunday. It was a good collection of races that day.
Billy Humphrey, the first jock I saw today in the parking lot. That's always our hunch play.
Yeah.
That was a good ride on Nathan Detroit. One of our new chart callers for Echo Base, Mark Fisher, was up there working with us, kind of picked it up. And you're right, it was hemmed in a little bit, turning for home, adapted, shifted back into the rail, got this horse to pick it back up again and finish strong. So good to see the young rider getting a little tested. They were kind of making him work for it upper stretch. He wanted to kind of ease out. That path got shut off, dropped in and got it done.
Worked
so that
out.
was good.
It did. It worked out for him. We've got some nice stakes coming up here in the month of July in the Summer Sizzler. We just had we had 2 out of the 11 stakes, so 9 stakes races left. We got the Frank D. Francis Memorial Dash left at Alma North, Prince George County, the Big DeFrayis. And then on the 30th, we've had the Deputed Testimony, the Star de Nascra, the Miss Disco Stakes, and the Ben's Cat Stakes, and the Jamila Stakes. I'm really excited for those stakes races on the 30th. We've got some good stakes coming up, some match series as well that line up for this nice summer match series races. Keith, let's get into your best bet.
Best bet, audacious quality.
Yep.
Don't let me down.
We're gonna get
stay in the clear and come run them down.
Exactly. We're gonna get a better performance out of Audacious Quality last time. Just tried to go in for a spot early on around the half and just didn't want anything to do with it. But we're gonna get a smoother trip, I think, especially with Angel Cruz on top and your price play, which I absolutely love your price play today.
You do like the price play?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get an okay price. We get 6-1 on the morning line. I kind of went back and looked. It might be a little less. I'll take 4 if I can get it. Anti-poison, right? Verdi Sanchez Salaman looks like the pace of the race, I think, can relax on the front end and bring a finish and deny those closers late. There you go.
Definitely. We will have Dave Rodman on very soon, right after us, with Scratches and Changes.
All righty. Good luck, everybody.